Good morning. No, yes, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi everyone. Good
All
morning, good
right.
afternoon, depending on where you are.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
for
joining
being
us
here.
today. We are waiting just few minutes. Yes, because more people are joining us from. Thank you so much. We're going to start with a survey because we really want to know where are you coming from? What is the institution that you are joining us today? This is an event for our Hemispheric University Consortium students. We are very excited to have you here. And during this session today with Camilo Villa, he's the director of Internationalization and Research at the University of Universidad de Los Andes in Colombia. Universidad de Los Andes is the host institution. They are the one who are administering these wonderful, successful programs that we are today in the fourth edition, right? So during this session, you will learn more about this program. And also we, of course, and thank you, we wanna, we have the Q&A open for you because as you can see, we have a lot of attendees. So if you have questions, please be free to type those questions in the Q&A icon. You can either put your questions in English or in Spanish. We can also, will have the opportunity to answer that. Okay, so with that, let me start. I'm gonna put a quick survey because we wanna see what are the institutions that are you coming from. So please give me just a second. And of course, let me launch the survey. It's just a quick survey. Please help us with your answer. We really want to see what are the institutions that you are joining us today. Of course, we are recording this session because as you can see, we have many students that are interested in this program, but for us, it's really, really helpful to know where are you coming from. Thank you for joining us. I know that you are coming. We can see the people from Argentina, from Brazil, students from Canada. Thank you from Católica from Chile, also from Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, and of course, thank you for University of Miami, Peru, Cayetano Heredia, etc. And also the other questions that we have in this survey, it's if you have already applied to these internships, right? So we see that most of you, 63% no, so which is very interesting, and that's precisely why we are having this session today with you. So because we want to provide you with all the information so you can make that decision, right? And please, very important, we want to please any moment all the questions that you have, please make sure to use the Q&A. With that, let me just stop with the survey, and I'm gonna share the results with you. So you can see that we have 5% of the students that are joining us today are from Argentina, 3% are from Brazil, 11% from York University, the University of the West Indies as well, Andrés Bello 3%, 8% from Católica de Chile, Universidad de Los Andes 5%, 13% from Costa Rica, 21% from Católica Madre Maestra in Ecuador, and then we have also from Peru and from United States, from Miami. Thank you so much, and 68% of you haven't applied to the research. So with that, it's fantastic because that's precisely why we are here today, right? So with that, I'm turning over to you. Camilo, please, you can start with the session, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Gabriela, and it's great to see so many students from very different universities from the consortium. And that's our idea, that we reach really a diversity of institutions and of students. So it's great. So my name is Camilo Villa. I work at Universidad de Los Andes in Colombia as head of cooperation for research and networks. And we've been collaborating in this program a few years already. So I want to present you today about this program, the purpose, how to apply, some questions you might have, and of course we will be checking the Q&A to try to reply to those questions. Or of course, as we present, you might have new questions. So let's see how this goes, and we hope to solve all the questions you might have. So let me share my screen to begin with the presentation. Okay. Okay, Gabriel, can you confirm me quickly if you can see it?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And we will be recording this session as well, in case you want to review it afterwards, or in case you want to share it with other students. We will appreciate that. Okay, so what are we going to review today? We are going to explain what are virtual research internships as a concept, because it might be that you are not familiar with this. We want to share with you briefly our experience so far since 2021 when we started this program. And of course, we want to present our current call for students, this invitation that we have currently open to apply for the internships for this year. So in that session, we will explain the process. It's fairly simple, but we want to review that. The general conditions, that's very important. And of course, we want to review the project gallery that we have. We will share some answers to frequently asked questions that we have gotten in the past. And of course, at the end, we are going to, let's say, review the web page together to show you in practice how to apply. And of course, at the end, we will try to keep an eye for those questions you are posting already. So what are virtual research internships? We consider that these internships in our consortium, just a brief word about the consortium. I don't know how familiar are you with HUC or HUC or the Hemispheric University Consortium. It is a network in our continent, in the Americas, with 14 member universities from Canada to Argentina, Chile, covering many different countries. Of course, you belong to one of these universities. And we consider that the HUC is an ideal mechanism, an ideal network to promote collaboration in our continent. And of course, the virtual research internships is one of the programs that we have for this, but of course, it's not the only one. So this is also an invitation to explore our web page to get to know more about this consortium. But particularly talking about these virtual research internships, the idea is that in this internship, students carry out research activities remotely without needing to travel in person to their partner university. And then you do this in the framework of real research projects that some professors and researchers from different universities are conducting. And of course, you will work with those professors or with their research groups or with their labs, depending on the topics, to collaborate in those projects, but also to learn from those activities and those projects. So this is, we always want to say that this is a mechanism in which the students learn to conduct research, but also contribute to the projects. And of course, professors also support the activities with guidance, with discussions, with orientation on how to conduct that. And the projects can be individual or in group, and that depends a lot on the topic, on the disciplines, and the format that the professors define. So which kind of activities can be conducted? And this is very, very open. It depends a lot on the professors, on the topics, again, on the specific research project. But of course, the idea is that these activities, even though they are conducted remotely, they are an integral, a key part of the research project of the research process as a whole. I would say that in almost any discipline, research involves the review of scientific literature, the synthesis of information. It involves scientific writing, data analysis, processing, visualization in some cases, of course, group discussions when that applies, comparative analysis, for example, of a phenomenon between different countries of our continent, and of course, this involves a lot of feedback and communication with the supervisor. So these are type of activities that you could be expecting on these internships. And of course, as you learn and as you apply your knowledge and what you have learned so far to these projects, you are also getting experience in this. And these competencies, these skills, these research skills will serve you in the future in case you want to continue with your research career, for example. So to talk about our experience since 2021 when we started this program, we have so far completed 126 virtual internships, research internships. So this is a great number. We started during the pandemic, of course, as a way to keep collaborating with between our institutions. But of course, we realized that there was a lot of interest even after the pandemics, and that this format and this mechanism was a positive one and was well received. So we have continued with this program. So in 2021, we started with 36 internships. In the year after 2022, we had 38. And in 2023, we had 52. So we have seen an increase in the number of internships that we are conducting. And we, of course, invite universities. We have a pretty good number of universities participating from the consortium, and the students also coming from different universities. So this is a show or a sign of the interest that this program has. And something that we want to highlight is that in many cases, the internships are successful, and the collaboration between professors and students is going so well that the professors decide to collaborate with the students in writing academic scientific articles that can be, for example, submitted to a conference or to even to a journal. And we have tracked that at least 6 academic articles have been written or are being written as a result or as part of these internships. So we want to also highlight this because if you are considering a career in academia or a scientific or even a graduate study, these type of experiences are very are key to have already some records of and experiences in research. This we don't, let's say, we don't expect that a internship has to finalize with an article. It happens, and it can happen, but it's not mandatory. So don't think that you have to write an article at the end. It just happens that if the collaboration is fruitful and if the collaboration is going well, you and your professor might agree on writing that and collaborating that. We want to invite you to review in our webpage, and we will share that afterwards, the testimonials from professors, but also from students that have participated in the past in this program. Because at the end, we consider that we might promote a program, we might have some ideas of a program that might be interesting, but at the end, what counts is the opinion of the participants. And we have seen very nice, we have received very nice feedback from professors and from students. So this is an invitation for you to spend some time in our website where we have a section with those highlights, with what has happened in the previous editions. And in each of these editions, we have collected some testimonials from professors and students. So please review those. And here we have some examples of professors. Some of them are collaborating again this year. So it is always nice to see a professor that has had a good experience and wants to continue with the program. And yes, at the end, when it works well, the student remains in contact with the professor. They even collaborate after the internship, and they might have plans for future collaborations or for publishing an article, as we said. So this is something that you might want to consider for the internship. I won't go through the details of the testimonials, but yes, take some time to review them. And as we said, I think this is a nice opportunity. Also, considering that we have let's say a continental reach, also to compare different perspectives from different countries. For example, there are some projects that include precisely that they want to have a group of different students from different universities of the consortium to be able to compare a phenomena or a given topic, how it's happening across the countries. So that's also something that could be really interesting. Something that's very important is that at the end, if you complete the internship successfully, and for that we ask the professors if you have completed the internship. So if yes, we grant a digital badge from the consortium highlighting your participation. This is a blockchain certificate that you can share in different social media like LinkedIn, or if you have like other possibilities to share that and to show that also to future employers, or even to, if you're considering again future graduate studies, that could be also of interest, and that's something that we want to share. Okay, so now we're going to talk more in detail about the invitation that we have currently open. So please, for those of you who still have not applied, and that's fine, we still have time, and the idea of this session is to explain that. We have until June 7th for the applications. So keep that date in mind, but start reviewing, of course, the information so for you to be able to complete the form in time for this. So in our current call for this year, we have 31 projects. From 31 projects coming from 27 professors. Some professors have more than one project. That's why it's not an equal number. And from 9 host universities. And as you can see here on the right side, we have the list of universities, and you have here a great variety and really top universities in the continent. So this is a very nice opportunity. We have the State University of Campinas, Unicamp from Brazil, who joined the consortium recently and is being very active in this activity. So we're very happy about that. We have Universidad Católica de Chile, Universidad Andrés Bello, also from Chile, Universidad Austral in Argentina, Universidad de Los Andes in Colombia, Cayetano Heredia from Peru, San Francisco de Quito from Ecuador, University of Miami from the United States, and York University from Canada. So you can find projects from these universities. And as you can see, we are very happy to have 9 different universities of the consortium participating. And you can find projects for different levels, for undergraduate students, for master and PhD students, depending on the professors and the topics. And some professors are open to consider different levels. So even though if a project mentions one specific level and you are from a different level and you still like the project and you think it's interesting, apply and explain why you think that it's interesting for you and that you could be a nice candidate for this, even though it's not specifically what the professor is considering at the beginning. And of course, we have here several disciplines and different topics. And something that I would like to encourage and to invite you is to consider different disciplines. I think this format and this program is a great opportunity also to learn from other disciplines, to, let's say, to gain complementary knowledge. And if you are focused on the methods of, let's say, engineering or economics, and you want to learn from other type of methods or how a different discipline conducts research, this is also nice, because we are convinced that solving our global problems and the problems we have in the region, it needs interdisciplinary collaboration and perspective. So maybe if you don't find, let's say, a specific project for your topic of interest or for your discipline, consider other disciplines. And of course, the professors explain what the project is about and the skills required, but sometimes they are general enough to be able for a student coming from a different discipline to participate and to learn. So that's also an invitation that we want to make here. And something that we also want to invite you is, please consider applying to universities different from your own. And I want to be clear here, this is not mandatory for all universities. You still can apply to a project from your own universities, but this is also an opportunity to learn from other institutions, from other countries, from other cultures of research. And of course, to encourage this exchange, it's also a nice opportunity to participate in an academic project with other university. So at the end, yes, if you think the professor from your own university has a great project and you want to apply, please do that. However, depending on the professor and on the university, we might have some preferences for students coming from different universities to also encourage that let's say, exchange of experiences and ideas. Again, this is not a fixed requisite, so don't hesitate to apply if you really consider that the project from your university is great, but also consider applying to other projects. And as you will see, we have a nice gallery of projects with different, again, from different disciplines, different universities. We will review this in details afterwards. And for you to keep in mind the process. We have the call open until June 7th. Remember that, because we need your applications before closing the call. I think in this year, we are not able to extend the deadlines because we have already designed the process and we need to collaborate with different professors and universities. So please keep this date in mind. Then during June and early July, we will conduct a validation process, an endorsement. We want to make sure that you have, let's say, the endorsement from your home university to conduct an internship. So we conduct, let's say, an internal validation process with each of your universities. And of course, after that, with the students that have this endorsement, the professors evaluate the proposals, the application, and then select the candidates. So this happens during June and early July, and then in July, we expect to inform the results. And then, of course, if depending on the university, you need to register or to complete an additional form, and that happens in some of the universities. In this period of time, we do that with the idea of starting the internships in August. But please keep in mind, not every single internship starts in August. So don't worry and in the description of the projects, you will see expected dates. So we also leave here some flexibility to the professors depending on their availability. But this is like a general framework. And we do our best to have all the results in July, in early July, but some professors, depending on their academic calendar, might need some time. So please, we try to keep open communication with you on the advances of the process, but sometimes we might have some delays. So keep that in mind. We do our best, but at the end, we're working with different institutions, different professors, which have different academic calendars. So it's not always possible to have everything on the single date. But of course, feel free to contact us if at any point you have a question or you feel something is not clear enough. Okay, so the process. This is very important. Please read the information that is on the webpage. And it's not extremely long. It's not many pages. I think just take your time to read it and to feel confident that you are understanding what we included there. And of course, take the time to explore the project gallery. That's key because each project, if you will see, we have some cards with the projects, and then if you click, you see the details. You see who the professor is, his or her department, a link to his website or her website. Take the time to review that, because at the end you will going to be working with this professor. So take the time to get to know them, the professors, to understand the project, what's the project about, the activities that are expected. Very importantly, there is also some ideas of the time that you are expected to dedicate every week to this project. So please keep in mind, and we imagine that you have other responsibilities in your own university. So be sure that the time that is expected that you can allocate and dedicate that time. Of course, this is not always fixed. You can always, let's say, negotiate with the professors afterwards, but it's a reference already of what the professor is expecting. So keep that in mind. And as said, take the time to review each project, but also to, let's say, browse all the project and yes, explore the complete gallery again with an open mind and an open eye for different disciplines that you might be, or that might be of interest for you. Yes, and then there is an application link. There is a form. It's not extremely complicated, but of course, for that, we ask basic information, but two key parts are, one, there's a field for you to enter the motivation for why do you want to conduct this project? Why do you think you are a good candidate? Take your time to write a good motivation statement, and it is ideal if it's not a generic one. Don't take the same motivation and paste it in 5 different applications, because at the end, it's key that you really show the professors that you have understood the project, the activities, and that you are explaining, I have these abilities and I want to apply those abilities to this project, or I want to learn this and that project supports me in that, or whatever your motivation is and why do you think you are a good candidate, try to explain that. So I would advise, don't write a very short motivation. Take your time, write a good motivation. It is, at the end, it's a field on a form, but take your time to write it the best way you can. And then the application, after you have that, okay, I'm sorry. And the second important thing is a CV. This year, we are not accepting a file, so you cannot upload your CV, but you can have your CV in a web page or in a shared drive or even LinkedIn. Be sure to have your CV updated, because we ask for that as well. And then the rest of the process, we already explained it. We have a review of the applications, and then we will be communicating with you either if you advance to the next stage, what are the instructions, and yes, with the idea of starting our internships in the second half of the year. Yes, and here's some general conditions for the internships. Again, we see these virtual internships as a great international scientific experience. It has value on its own. You also get to expand your networks your network of contacts, and especially if you are considering conducting a graduate study or doing a project in a different university. This format, let's say, is a good point to start these collaborations. We mentioned that you will receive a badge if you complete the internship successfully. And this is something very important. Some students, mostly from the undergraduate program, will wish to have this internship recognized as credits, as academic credits, as part of your course load. And this is very important. We, as a consortium, we cannot guarantee that this is going to happen, because this depends on each of your universities. Each university has different regulations on how and what can be accepted, what can be recognized as academic credits. So if you're really interested in having this recognized, please ask your academic coordinator or your advisor at your home university. It depends a lot on your curricula, on the activities that you are going to be conducting. And again, we will ask you to consider this internship not only as a way to get credits, but really as an experience, because you are interested in research as a career. But again, some universities might accept that. And even we see differences in the same university. Some departments, some programs might accept that, while others don't. So ask. If this is your interest, please ask before, because we cannot guarantee that. And that depends a lot on the university, on your university where you are currently enrolled as a student. The reason for this is, again, we are a network of 14 universities, diverse, with different processes, different regulations. So we also leave and respect those processes at each universities. In the web page, we have a contact list in case you don't know who to contact, but usually your academic coordinator or your international office might serve as point of contacts for asking these type of questions. Okay, so here I'm going to stop my presentation. I want to share you the web page to show you like how it is a structure and how can you review the different projects. So let me 1 second here. Just 1 second. I think I have too many windows open and now I missed.
Camilo, just thank you so much, everyone. I know that you are submitting a lot of questions. It's fine. We are going to answer all of them, either in English or in Spanish. Gracias a todos por las preguntas que nos están enviando. Ahora vamos a proceder a contestarlas. Si pusieron una pregunta en español, la vamos a contestar en español.
Thank you, Gabriela. Can you see my screen again? Okay.
Yes.
So this is our webpage. The webpage from the Hemispheric University Consortium is fairly easy, the HUC.org. So please visit it and explore the different initiatives. Of course, we are talking today about the Virtual Research Internships 2024, but if you browse the gallery, you will see we have different, very interesting opportunities. So keep an eye on those. So once you reach our page, you will enter the specific page for our program, and this is the web address to registration. And here you will find the information that we have been sharing today. So please take some time. It's not extremely long to review this, to understand the ideas behind this. Here we have the links to the experiences from previous years. So as we mentioned, we have videos, we have written testimonials. Please take some time to review those. And the process, how to apply, again, take the time to review the information from each project. We have mentioned this during this recording, so I won't go through it again, but here is in written. And a section that is very important, we have here some specific conditions depending on your home university. So if you are from Universidad de Los Andes as a student, this applies to you, so please review it. And again, we have some specific conditions from Pontificia Universidad Católica Madre y Maestra y from Unicamp from Brazil. So review this. Unicamp students, Unicamp has a preference for students applying to other universities. Keep that in mind. If you applied already for a project from your own university, you can also apply to another one. We don't have, as of now, a limit on the number of applications you can send. Of course, in the review process, we might decide to allocate the candidates to the different projects that you have applied to. But in this stage where you can apply, don't hesitate to apply. If you want to consider a different application because you apply to your own university, please do so. Okay, and this is, let's say, the most important part of our webpage for this call, and this is the project gallery. So you will find these cards. One recommendation, if it's easier, you can click here to see a larger version of the gallery, and a new window will open with this data. And you can, again, a recommendation is take a quick review of all the projects for you to have an idea what's in here. Usually the project title and the school of the professors will give you some general information of what's going on in this project and the topic. And take the time to review. We have very different disciplines, again, from different universities, different disciplines, professors that are great, and some of them have already had a good experience with this program. And once you find a project of interest, click on this card, and you will be able to see the complete information. So each professor has provided information about he or she her email address. However, please, we included the email address in case you really need to contact them, but please, we ask you that at this stage, don't contact the professors yet. We are going to review your applications, to send them to the professors. The professors will review those, will select some students. So it is not really necessary to contact professors at this point. In some cases, it might be even be confusing for the professors. So yes, at this point, we will ask you to follow the process that we are explaining, but don't contact the professors yet. But do review their website, who they are, and the projects they have conducted. And of course, there is a short description of the project. There is a description of the activities that are expected. We have the language of the internship. In some cases, we have English, Spanish, but also Portuguese in some cases. We have the numbers of places available, the expected weekly workload. We mentioned this. Depending on the projects, the professors have different expectations, the desired academic level, and the skills that a student should have. And so again, take the time to review this. And if you scroll down, you will find an application, a button to apply. So once you have reviewed the different projects and see if some of them are of interest for you, you just click on apply and you will be taken to the application form. And as we mentioned, it's nothing too complicated. You will have to select your home university, for example, in this case, the Universidad Católica de Chile, and you will have to select the project of interest. So while you are exploring the gallery, make sure to write down the projects you are interested in. Each project has a number and the title, so you will find those lists here, select the one it is interesting for you. And then here is what we were mentioning. It is key to write a good motivation statement. So take the time. We recommend that you write it outside this form, and once you have it ready, you just come here and paste it. And again, the CV, this will be a link, so please have it available in a different platform, or in a Drive, or in LinkedIn. And that's it is relatively simple, yes, to apply. Okay. And now, before reviewing your questions, and we'll be doing that, I will go quickly through some questions that we have already received in the past. So we are going to answer those, and then we will review the questions that you have. Yes. So what are some of these questions? First of all, do internships have a cost? Because in some universities from other programs, you might need, let's say, to pay an administrative fee or some type of fee. In this case, we don't have any costs. You don't have to pay any fee to the university. At the same time, we don't have funding. And this is also a common question that we get. Unfortunately, for this program, we don't have funding. So keep that in mind. That might be a part of your decision. Again, we will like to recommend you that you consider this as a learning experience, but also as an opportunity to gain experience in research. But to be clear, they don't have a cost, but they don't have funding. So this is also very, very important to know. The duration of a virtual research internship can vary. We recommend that the projects happen during the second half of the year, let's say starting in August until December, for example, but some might be shorter. In some cases, the project is going very well and professors and students agree to continue collaborating in the following semester. So again, there we have some flexibility. Please review what the professors have written in each project. They usually said that, but again, we have seen variations and extensions because the internship is being successful. If you don't have previous research experience, or if you don't have this specific profile, I think I mentioned this, this is a great learning opportunity. This can be your first research experience if you haven't had that yet, of course, depending on your level. Again, if you think I don't have every single skill that is expected, but you still want to apply, explain that in your motivation statement. Explain how with the other skills that you have, you might learn that new skill. And may, in that case, the professor might consider accepting you as an intern. Here we mentioned the CV is mandatory, is part of the application. In this case, we won't have it uploaded, so you will have to share it in a different link. A question is, if you have to submit a written report at the end of the internship, this is not a requirement from each internship. So again, the expectations are usually defined together with the professors, and the deliveries or the activities that you need to deliver at the end to be considered a successful internship, that can be agreed with the professors. Usually, or in some cases, they will not ask you for a written report, but in some cases they want to see that you also have this self-reflection of what you have done. So that might be a part of the activities. Yes, and I think we have already explained how to apply for a specific project. So browse the gallery, read the information of the web page, review the details, and at the end, apply. So I'll stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to start reviewing the questions. Gabriela, do you want to read them and then?
Yes.
Or please.
Thank you so much, Camilo. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, because I see that we have a lot of questions, and I'm going to be reading the questions in English or in Spanish, and I'm going to ask Camilo to really answer all of them because it's important. Thank you for being here. I think that the first question is related that once that they apply, they don't obtain an email with a confirmation that they apply it, right? So can you please just clarify what is exactly what they're gonna see once that they apply and push that button with their nomination?
Yes. So after you apply, you just get a very simple message that thank you for your application. Since we still have the call open, we are not yet, let's say, replying to your applications because we are collecting them. And at the end, once we close the period of applications, we will be sending you a message with the next steps and confirming your applications. So don't worry if you are not getting any email at this point, because once we close the applications period, you will receive more information. Yes, I would say that. Gabriela, if you feel free, you also part of this. So if you want to add something, please.
It's exactly. Just be sure that you have you receive that confirmation from the same systems. That's enough. Okay. So from Mara Crowset, hello, I'm from Pontificia Católica Madre Maestra, and for me to apply, I need previously approval from my university, but when I contacted them, only send me the link to this call. What is the approval that I need before applying?
Yes, thank you. So
yes,
because we have, I mean, there is a condition specifically from your university in which you will need a additional approval, but what is important to know is this doesn't need to happen before applying. I mean, you can apply, and because we will review in your applications with your university, maybe at that point they might ask you for this approval. So apply, don't worry. We are collecting all the applications, and since we have this next step of reviewing your applications with your university, at that point, it will be more clear to you if you need anything additional from your university.
Thank you. From Luis Peralta, I already graduated from my university and I am not currently studying. I can apply for the internship program?
Unfortunately, no, Luis, and we're sorry. In the past, we have considered some alumni, but we want to focus, and this is mostly because of the different administrative processes from each university. So yes, at the end we need, and because we need to review with your academic coordinators if you are eligible, if you are in good academic standing. We need to have, the professors need to have, let's say, some, they need to be sure that the students are still students, because this is an academic process at the end. So we have, yes, we have this for current students. Yes, that's.
Okay. To apply to an internship in a Spanish-speaking university, should the documents and motivation be submitted in English, Spanish, or either is fine?
If the project language is Spanish, or if it includes Spanish, it is okay if you send the document and the application in Spanish. If the professor mentions that the activities are going to be conducted mainly in English, it is recommended that you apply in English, because the professor might want to see how you deal with the language. So yes, we will like to, I mean, at the end, the professors will review. So for that reason, they included the languages, and it is fine if the applications documents are in that language of the internship.
Yeah, just if the internship is open for more than one language, it's okay. If you see English and Spanish, you can submit your information in Spanish or English. It's fine, because this is also part of the experience. Okay. Okay, we have another comment here. Can students from other public universities can be part that are not part of the consortium can participate in the virtual research internships?
And unfortunately, no. We have this program as part of our network, and because we need to coordinate a lot of processes and to review information, we cannot open it to other universities. So yes, we appreciate your interest, but unfortunately, it's not open to other.
Question from Leslie Rodriguez. I have a couple of colleagues who are close to graduating. Can they also apply to the internship too?
We need them to be still active students from the universities. So that's something very key. At the end, we need a confirmation from the university that you are a student. So that depends a lot on the different universities, how you consider a colleague that is close to be graduating. Yes, I will say that, because then we have a variety of institutions. But at the end, what's important is that you are considered still a student.
A student when you are registered, and please make sure to see the period of the internship. It's very clear. It is going to start from August to December. So if that fits in you are still a student, then you qualify. Okay. I'm going to make this in Spanish because he's here. ¿Se puede hacer el internado aunque ya sean graduados de la universidad?
Desafortunadamente no. Y lo hemos considerado en el pasado, pero nos hemos dado cuenta de que necesitamos una serie de validaciones de los coordinadores académicos de las universidades, y por lo tanto necesitamos que sean estudiantes activos de diferentes niveles, pero que todavía estén registrados como estudiantes en sus universidades.
Okay, there's another interesting is the project that I'm interested in says it will start in the first semester of 2025. But I'm interested in doing in the second semester of 2024. It is possible to do this project in the upcoming semester, or do I have to follow the dates mentioned in the project gallery?
So each professor mentioned the dates, let's say. It might happen that the professor that included the second semester, or the first semester of 2025 is not available for the internship in the upcoming semester. So you still can apply, you still can mention. We will need to review that with the professors. And yes, we imagine that the professor mentioned that is because he or she is not available in other project, in other period, sorry. So yes, as a general recommendation, follow the dates. But if you really think that's the project you definitely want to apply to, please do. mention that you don't have or that you are not available to those dates, but here we cannot guarantee that the professor will be able to do that internship in a different period.
Okay, we have a really good question here. If I apply to 2 internships, what happens if I get accepted on both?
That's a great question. And I will be very honest, we are still reviewing that in the consortium. Why? Because in the past, we have some cases exactly like this, that you apply to different projects and that you are accepted. And in some cases, you as a student say, okay, I can manage both projects. And then you start at the end, it is not so easy because you also need time to read, to review, to do the activities. So we have had some successes, but we also have some difficulties. So we are still reviewing, and this will be part of the evaluation process. And we will be considering if we will be accepting this time, or if you really are going to recommend that if you are, let's say, pre-selected to more than one project, that at the end you make a choice and decide for one. Because yes, so we are not completely clear at this stage. Apply, but we will be reviewing this with different partner universities if we are going to accept this for this edition, or if we are going to limit it somehow. Yeah. Because we have seen a mixed experiences. It's some good experiences, but I will say some other difficult experiences. In at the end, you feel overwhelmed having your own responsibilities from your university, and also, let's say, a commitment with 2 different projects. So please carefully consider that, and we will be informing you, of course. And at some point we decide that we're going to limit. We will, of course, respect the interest in the applications you have sent, but as part of the application and as part of the review process, we might decide to allocate candidates to the different projects. So it remains an open question, and we will be informing about that.
And please apply, right? I mean, if you see that you are a good candidate and you really like, please, what you need is the opportunity to be part of the selection process. This is in Spanish from Nabila García. Buenas tardes, gracias por la oportunidad. Mi pregunta es acerca del proceso de aplicación. En las Specific Guidelines se menciona que mi Universidad Pontificia Católica Madre Maestra debe contactar a John Banks. Sin embargo, ya lo hice, pero él me informa que aún no tiene la información necesaria para proceder. ¿Qué debería hacer en este caso? ¿Podría aplicar de forma normal como las otras universidades?
Sí, gracias, Nabila. Sí, por favor, apliquen. Nosotros estamos en comunicación con las universidades y como parte del proceso de revisión de las postulaciones y de las aplicaciones, nos ponemos en contacto con tu universidad. Entonces, en este momento, aplica y más adelante revisaremos con la universidad esos requisitos adicionales.
So this is a common, several students and the same question. How many projects can we apply?
There is no limit. There is no limit. So you can apply to different projects. Please consider taking the time to review the projects, and very importantly, to write good motivation statement for each project. Yes, I mean, what's important is that you really take this seriously, that if you are applying to one project, it's because you really have the capacities, the interest, and the availability to be an active contributor to this project. We decided not to limit the applications, to have a broad, let's say, a broad set of opportunities. But again, as part of the review process, we will be narrowing that down, because we have seen that it is not very easy to conduct more than one internship at a time. So, but yes, feel free to apply. Our recommendation is don't apply, let's say, massively to all projects, like, let's say, trying to get at least accepted at one. But if you want to do that, it's because you really took your time to write specific motivation statement for those, because at the end, you will have, or each professor will have many candidates, and one of the first criteria for filtering is what you write in those motivation statements. So if you have a generic one that you have used for different projects, your chances are lower, let's say.
Okay.
Yes.
From Power Griffin, can I put the badge on my LinkedIn?
Yes. Yes. And we invite you, and Gabriela, if you want to show, we invite you to follow the profile of the Hemispheric University Consortium on LinkedIn, and you will see some examples from past students who have shared this. So yes, the idea, this is a digital badge with blockchain technology that can be shared in your LinkedIn profiles and in other networks and profiles.
And very
Yes.
successful, I mean. ¿Puedo empezar mi proceso de aplicación sin tener la autorización de mi coordinador en el caso de Los Andes?
Sí, sí, puedes comenzar con la aplicación y como parte del proceso que viene después de revisión y validación, ya se solicita esa aprobación de los coordinadores académicos. Para aplicar no se solicita en este punto, entonces se puede.
Okay, from Erickson Silje, is the platform accessible on mobile? The website? It is.
Yes, it is. Also the gallery, of course, you will see it like a long list, but it is also accessible for mobile.
There's a lot of questions about if they are upcoming graduate, if they can still apply. The most important here is please read the requirements, and you have to be a current student while you are in the internship, when we are going to be performing the internship. That's basically the answer for all of us. I'm doing a master
Yes.
degree. It's possible to apply. And
Yes, please apply. Of course, master's degree are also master students have already some experience and they can contribute a lot to projects. So yes, definitely.
this is an interesting question. If I didn't enroll in my university this semester, can I apply?
Unfortunately, no, because as mentioned, let's say we need to have the support of your home university for in case something happens or in case we need to review something, or we also need, let's say, to conduct some validations so that we can give good applications to the professors. So that's why we are, let's say, focusing on current students. Yes.
La pregunta en español, estoy inscrito en una universidad parte del consorcio. Sí, soy un estudiante activo, pero el próximo semestre voy a estar matriculado en cursos que no son propios de mi carrera. ¿Es posible participar así, ya que sigo siendo estudiante activo de la universidad, o eso sería un problema?
Si eres estudiante activo de la universidad, no sería un problema. Nosotros, como parte de la validación que hacemos, justamente le preguntamos a tu universidad si eres un estudiante activo. Si ellos nos dicen que sí, eh, no hay problema, a no ser de que, no sé, si estás en un programa especial, lo que no sé de pronto es si los cursos, así sean de otro programa, suman a tu currículo. Lo que al final importa es, nosotros necesitamos el visto bueno de tu universidad para que tú continúes en el programa. Entonces, uno de los requisitos es que estés inscrito, perdón, como estudiante activo, y puede que ellos tengan otros requisitos adicionales que decían tener en cuenta, pero por lo general el hecho de ser activo es clave. Entonces, no, en principio no debe ser un problema.
Ok, en español, ¿qué pasaría si aplico y me aceptan, pero luego se me imposibilita hacerlo? ¿Traería consecuencias?
Esta pregunta es muy importante porque, a ver, lo importante aquí es entender que estos proyectos de investigación son reales, son proyectos en que los profesores están trabajando con sus grupos de investigación. Y si bien es una experiencia de aprendizaje, también hay una cierta responsabilidad que como estudiantes que vamos a hacer una investigación debemos asumir. Entonces es importante que consideren tener la disponibilidad, tener la voluntad. Por supuesto, sabemos que las circunstancias pueden cambiar y en algún momento puede surgir alguna dificultad. Lo importante aquí es ser muy respetuosos y muy serios y si eso ocurre, comunicarlo. explicar, mantener una comunicación abierta con el profesor, decirle, yo tenía toda la intención, me surgió esto, o definitivamente no puedo. Realmente, consecuencias, pensamos que no, depende mucho finalmente de cada universidad. No, como es un programa en el que, y también por eso necesitamos que sean estudiantes activos, pues si hay unos ya comportamientos que pueden superar lo que de pronto es aceptable para una universidad, se puede revisar o entramos a revisar los casos, pero no se trata tanto de que haya una consecuencia, sino más como entender la responsabilidad que como estudiantes tenemos trabajando en un proyecto que es real y que finalmente, al que finalmente estamos aportando. Entonces es eso, es tomarlo, aplicar porque realmente nos entusiasma, porque queremos aprender, porque la experiencia será importante y mantener la comunicación. O sea, nadie está libre de circunstancias personales, familiares, como estudiantes, tenemos una dificultad académica, estamos sobrecargados. Eso puede pasar y lo importante es ser muy respetuosos y muy serios y en comunicarlo con tiempo, en decirlo, sí, en ser abiertos. Las solicitudes no se desaparezcan, por favor. Sabemos que las dificultades se presentan, pero no se desaparezcan, porque esa parte sí se vuelve difícil, porque hay unas expectativas, hay unos acuerdos. Y de nuevo, uno puede tener dificultades, pero es también parte de un proceso formativo decir, profesor, por tal y tal razón no puedo continuar y seguramente se entrará a revisar, pero sería la solicitud. Entonces, más que una consecuencia, es como un respeto al trabajo de todos y ser abiertos cuando ocurre alguna circunstancia que no nos permite continuar.
Okay, from Manuel William, can I apply for a different discipline, let's say a geoscience discipline to biological science?
Yes, definitely. Check the projects. If you think you have the required skills, that's great. And from our experience here at Uniandes, geosciences and biological sciences have a lot to, let's say, we need these disciplines together to understand a lot of processes that are happening in our earth. So that would be ideal. Just make sure that at least you have the skills required, and if you feel that some is missing, but you still can learn that, explain that in your statement, and that could be a possibility.
I know that if we are selected for or accepted in two programs, can we choose which one to take part in?
We will review in this process because, as mentioned before, it depends. Understand that different professors might have different applications and they need to review that. Ideally, we can ask you if you are selected in both, but it can happen that before that or let's say you are pre-selected in one project but not in the other, or that we need to balance applications. We are still reviewing that. So for the specifics on how the selection process will be conducted, we are still reviewing some details with our colleagues from the other universities. What we will try our best is, of course, to respect your interest and the projects you apply to, but it's not it's not necessarily that doesn't guarantee that you are going to get a place in that project. At the end, this is a competitive project. We have received, as of now, more than 95 applications. So yes.
Yeah, two final questions. One in Spanish. No me matriculé estos dos últimos semestres en estudiantes internacionales porque me encuentro estudiando en otro país, en otra universidad. ¿Puedo aplicar?
Si no estás matriculado, desafortunadamente no. A no ser de que que tu universidad te permita matricularse para ser parte de este programa, que algunas universidades lo permiten, porque al final lo importante es que seas un estudiante activo.
Camilo, it's if you are going to share the recording of this session, this is one of the questions, and the other is the emails. If they have additional questions, who can they connect with when they can submit more questions?
Yes, thank you. The recording, Gabriela, please correct me. We will be uploading this recording in the webpage, so you can
The
find it there.
website and social media, yes.
Yes, and then in that web page, you also find the list of persons either at your university or also from us if you want to, yes, make some more general questions.
Okay. So we received another 2 questions in Spanish. Es con respecto a la pregunta de aplicar y no puedo poder, en mi caso, yo he aplicado otra beca también, pero no sé si será aceptado. Pero por eso quería también, no quiero perder la oportunidad. Y me interesa postular a un proyecto que está asociado a 2 universidades, quería aplicar a ambos, 20 y 21, o puedo aplicar solo a uno.
Este proyecto es particular, es colaborativo entre 2 profesores de 2 universidades. Pueden aplicar a cualquiera de los 2, uno es suficiente. Después los profesores van a revisar en conjunto esas aplicaciones, porque finalmente se quieren formar como 2 grupos colaborativos en el mismo proyecto. Entonces está bien si aplican al uno o al otro, que son de la Universidad de York y de Uniandes.
Okay. Well, I think, Camilo, oh my God, it was a lot of questions and students board. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Camilo, for this session. So in the chat, you have the link to their website when you can submit your nomination. With all this information is going to be available as well. The recording, we're going to put the recording there. And if you need more help or you have more questions, you have contacts in your institutions, but also in the secretariat, we will be also helping you and guiding you and until June 7th. So there's a deadline for you to submit those nominations. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Camilo. Have a wonderful afternoon and morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this session.
Thank you. Bye-bye.